KSAT 12. The Nightbeat starts right now.
A community in grief, and now neighboring areas are stepping up to help carry the load. How Uvalde is being supported in the wake of this tragedy.
The staff are safe in the building. This building is secure in a lockdown status.
A Uvalde parent whose child was at that school during the mass shooting upset that they were told their children were safe when a timeline of events reveals they weren't. The answers they're now demanding from the district.
Tonight, days after that massacre at Robb Elementary, the community clearly still reeling.
Yeah, law enforcement agencies from across Texas are trying to help out by offering their support.
The night team's Lee Waldman shows us they're showing the heart of Texas is with the city of Uvalde.
Their cruisers are lined up one by one.
So I'm with Ingram Police Department.
I'm a lieutenant with the Hempstead Police Department.
57 agencies, more than 180 officers, all here to help after the Robb Elementary School shooting, where 19 students and 2 teachers were killed.
Without question, I wanted to come here for the officers. Now that I've been here, I'm overwhelmed with the community.
Sergeant Adrian Ruiz and Chief Homer Delgado with Dilley Police Department led the effort to get the departments here, putting out a call to action with the Texas Police Chiefs Association.
He called us back and said, "Are y'all ready for what I'm sending?" And we said, "Yes, please do. Please send them."
More officers from other departments are still on their way. For some, it's more personal than others.
Got the notification that an active shooter situation was going on at my elementary school. So that hit close to home when I heard about it, and immediately I knew where I wanted to be when I had the opportunity to be here.
My children were in that school as well, so I understand what it felt like for those families not knowing.
They're all here for the same reason, to take over duties and allow the community, the people, the time and resources to mourn, grieve, and begin to heal.
I don't want this to be about us and what we're doing with one another, and for them, it's about them and preventing this from ever occurring again.
The law enforcement mission is called Operation Coyote Overwatch. It's in honor of the high school mascot. Sergeant Ruiz tells me that all of these departments will be inside the city of Uvalde for as long as they're needed, no matter how long that takes. Live in Uvalde, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
Lee, thank you. Great to see that support today. Tonight, we're hearing from the parents of Alexandria Rubio, a 10-year-old girl who died in that school massacre this week. The daughter, who goes by Lexi, last saw her parents after receiving a certificate for A honor roll and good citizenship.
Told her we loved her, we'll see her, pick her up later. We keep going over that because we always pick up our kids after the ceremonies. They always want to leave early. There's usually a sign-out sheet. And there wasn't a sign-out sheet this time, and I didn't ask, and she didn't mention it. Just walks off. And that was it.
Lexi's dad is actually a Uvalde County Sheriff's deputy and was off duty at the time of the shooting. He responded to the scene after hearing about the shooting before knowing his daughter had died in the attack.
The Texas DPS director says a bad decision led to more lives being lost than needed to be in the Uvalde mass shooting. A Robb Elementary parent now wants answers as to how or why the on-scene commander could think the gunman had gone from an active shooter to just a barricaded suspect. The mother spoke with the night team's John Paul Barajas on the condition of anonymity.
I was scared. It was the worst day of my life.
This Robb Elementary parent lived the horror of the Uvalde massacre. Her daughter is one of the survivors. The mother counts her blessings, but demands answers on why the gunman was in the school for nearly an hour and a half before being stopped.
These kids didn't have nothing. Nothing in their... They had nothing and nobody there to protect them. Oh my gosh. It's a shame. It's sad. It's a shame.
According to the Texas Rangers timeline of events, at 12:03, there was 19 officers in the school outside the classroom. It wasn't until 12:58 that they announced the lone gunman dead. DPS Director Steve McCraw says the on-scene commander, who was the school district police chief, believed the gunman went from an active shooter to a barricaded subject.
Of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period.
All those kids were calling, how can it not be an active shooter, no longer an active shooter, when they're receiving these phone calls that these kids are seeing other kids still getting shot?
The Rangers timeline states 911 calls from within the classroom came in at 12:03, 12:10, 12:13, 12:16, 12:19, 12:36, 12:43, and 12:47. The calls consisted of people saying multiple people are dead, he shot the door to the room, and one person pleading with dispatch, please send police now.
It should not have taken that long. It shouldn't have taken that long. He should have not been in that schoolroom, in that school for that long. It's 19 officers, 19 kids are dead.
The mother tells us although her daughter is alive, she's not okay. She can't be in rooms by herself, and when she is in rooms, those doors have to remain open. The mom did want to add her cousin's child did not make it out of the mass shooting. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Meanwhile, the police chief for the school district who is accused of delaying officers' response and confronting that shooter is set to be sworn into a new position. He was elected to city council this week. Police Chief Peter Arredondo was the commander at the scene on Tuesday, according to DPS. According to a report from the Uvalde Leader News, voters, quote, overwhelmingly chose to elect Arredondo as the District 3 city councilman there. He collected nearly 70% of the vote. He is scheduled to be sworn in on Tuesday, May 31st. Right now, no word if the shooting will impact any of that.
We want to tell you about what's happening tomorrow. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will be visiting Uvalde to console the families in the community affected by this horrific act. You can expect full coverage from us, both on air and online.
Growing in size as the days go by. That is the scene at a memorial in Uvalde's town square.
Now, flowers, signs, and crosses all on display to honor the victims and their families. Today, people gathered at the memorial, some joining in prayer. Some people even traveled as far as Colorado to pay their respects.
Wooden crosses were seen with the names of each of the victims. Uvalde residents say it is hard to see their community so heartbroken right now, but seeing everyone come together is restoring their faith in humanity.
Back here in San Antonio, Northside ISD bus drivers found their own unique way to pay tribute to the victims of Uvalde. They parked their buses together in the shape of a heart, and bus drivers, bus assistants, and their families held hands and stood together in a formation that spelled out the word Uvalde. The organizer says he was inspired to do something because the massacre hit too close to home. He says school should always be the safest place for children.
A Thomas Jefferson High School senior making sure people are keeping their mental health in check while trying to break down the stigma that surrounds it. Today, Joseph Gonzalez organized a mental health awareness walk at Alamo Stadium. This was the first time that event was held at that location, and more than 100 people participated. Gonzalez says talking about his mental health has helped him, so he wanted to give others the same opportunity to grow.
It is very important to keep talking about mental health. Without talking about this, we'll lose more and more.
Gonzalez says this originally started out as a school project, but he is glad to keep it going. For anyone who is struggling with mental health right now, we have a link to a bunch of resources available right now on our website, KSAT.com.
Man, it is still warm at this hour. Temperatures mid to upper 80s around San Antonio. We had a few high thin clouds sneak in from the west, and actually was just outside a few minutes ago. The breeze has really helped us out tonight. It's kept things moving along, and you probably noticed more wind today. We had really light winds on Friday, more of a breeze today, and things will be even a little bit more windy tomorrow and on Memorial Day. Of course, we'll talk more about what you can expect over the next couple of days coming up. Our low this morning, 73, not too bad, pretty close to normal for this time of year, but we made it up to 99 this afternoon, nearly 10 degrees above average for late May. Again, mid to upper 80s out at the airport now, but a nice breeze still hanging on. The wind will be with us for the next couple of days, so more wind on Sunday, also on your Memorial Day. I'll have that planner for you coming up. And later on in this newscast, hurricane season, the official start is right around the corner. There's a little activity out there, especially in the Pacific Basin. I'll show you that. I'll show you the forecast for this season as well, coming up later on in this newscast.
Still to come on the Nightbeat, Memorial Day weekend is here, and it is looking to be way more pricier than usual. How much you can expect to spend for the summer kickoff holiday. Plus, we go behind the kitchen door of a cafe written up for repeat violations, along with new discoveries of rodents and roaches. See the results from the inspection.
And with this heat, it's a good thing tubing and boating season is here. But how have the recent temperatures affected the river water? We get an update from the New Braunfels area next.
This weekend is the unofficial start to summer, and that means a lot of people are going to be heading up to New Braunfels this summer.
Oh, it's going to be crowded. If you're planning to cool off in the popular Comal River, you might see some changes this Memorial Day weekend due to the recent drought-like conditions.
Tonight, Team's Camila Juarez tells us what you can expect this year at the river.
Keep safe, have fun, and just behave.
For some, summer begins as soon as it's warm enough to hop in the river. And with it being Memorial Day weekend, New Braunfels is expecting to see an increase in people and business.
I think now that everybody's back out and everybody's wanting to travel, but probably locally, so that's going to bring in some really good crowds. So we're anticipating very big weekends.
But the crowd is welcome as many businesses are still recovering from COVID-related setbacks. VP of the Visitors Bureau, Mallory Hines, says the anticipated boom in people will have a positive impact for their economy.
There's the ripple effect of those dollars into the community, as a restaurant must buy supplies to support their operation, and an employee from one of these attractions or businesses then goes and spends in this economy.
Now, although the river may be low in some places, be sure to bring your life vest. They're free of charge all along the river, and make sure your size is appropriate for your weight.
The best way to avoid parking hassles or lines at the tube chutes is to arrive early. High gas prices have families trading a long road trip for staycations nearby. And despite all the fun that can be had, New Braunfels Police Captain Michael Penshorn wants to remind people to do it safely.
People need to make sure they keep their level of intoxication down, because you might be the best swimmer in the world, but if you become intoxicated, a river that can be 15, 20 feet deep in some places can definitely get the best of you.
New Braunfels PD also says you could be ticketed for bringing glass or styrofoam, but warnings are often issued to protect river critters and fellow swimmers. Camila Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
Boy, it's a good day to sit by a river, dip in when it gets too hot, sit out, get back in.
I'm not ready for it to be that kind of season.
Well, you had a nice little break this week.
We did.
We got out of the broiler.
That was appreciated.
For a couple days.
Yeah, we gave you a break for a couple days. And now it's back. Yeah.
Yes.
Heat is the focus of the forecast once again, and that means the rest of your Memorial Day weekend will be hot. So yeah, find yourself a cool spot, maybe by the pool. Tim will be at your house, I guess.
Well, I'll be here, so I don't get to enjoy it, but I'll make it nice for everybody.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have to get over there at some point. Tomorrow, your high temperature 98, 96 on Monday, so we shave a couple degrees off the high for Memorial Day, but that's just because we expect cloud cover to linger a little bit longer in the morning into the afternoon. Wind will also be more noticeable over the next couple of days. It was breezy today, but we're talking things becoming windy at times over the next 2 days. So let's jump into your forecast. We are looking at wind gusts up to about 30 miles per hour at times as we get into both Sunday and Monday. I want to show you today's time lapse starting at 6 a.m. A lot of clouds out there very early this morning, but within about 2 hours, they all went away, and then it was really nothing but sunshine through the afternoon. There have been a few high, thin clouds sneaking in from the west this evening. Otherwise, clear skies and just very warm. 87 now at the airport. Thankfully, as I mentioned, we've had a good breeze in place tonight to keep things moving around just a bit. It's currently 84 in Rock Springs, and we still do have a few spots in the 90s, still 92 in Del Rio, just shy of 90 in Cotulla, and it's 84 in New Braunfels. So this afternoon, if you were with us at 5, I showed you these dew point numbers, and pretty much everyone had dew point numbers down in the 50s. So feeling a lot less humid during the hottest part of the day. That kept our heat index readings, or feels like temperatures, from getting too high today. But now these dew point numbers are starting to come back up. Moisture is moving back in from the Gulf Coast, and we've already got a dew point of 70 at the airport. So it is starting to feel more and more muggy out there tonight. Overnight and through early tomorrow morning, it is going to feel pretty sticky out there. But tomorrow, just like today, as we get into the hottest part of the day, so after lunchtime into the afternoon, we do expect some drier air to mix back in. So again, that'll take the edge off of the heat index tomorrow afternoon, but we're still talking about an air temperature around 98, pushing 100 degrees. So either way you slice it, it's going to be a hot day, but more of a dry heat again tomorrow afternoon, and more wind around for your Sunday. Sustained winds 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts at times up to 30 miles per hour. Courtney talked about this in our earlier newscast, but yeah, if you're going to be out in the backyard doing grilling, any type of open flame, just make sure you're keeping a close eye on things, keep things secure, because few of those gusts, we don't want anything moving around that shouldn't be moving around, if you get my drift. And it will be, the wind will help us out tomorrow. You know, it is going to be hot, so at least we'll have a steady wind all day tomorrow. South winds sustained here 10 to 20 miles per hour, and again on Monday. So the next few days, the wind will be a lot more noticeable. Maybe you're wondering, is it really just hot and sunny across Texas? For the most part, there have been a couple of severe storms west of Dallas, really between the Lubbock area and Dallas. Otherwise, pretty quiet across the state, and it was a hot one across Texas today. 105 the high in Midland, 104 San Angelo, and 104 in Abilene. The reason for all this heat, we've got a ridge of high pressure sitting over Texas. Over the next several days through the middle of next week, it moves around just a bit, but not much, and that just keeps us hot and dry. I mentioned we've got a little something going on in the tropics. This is out in the Pacific Basin. We've got a tropical storm here. This is Agatha. Agatha is expected to make landfall as a hurricane in the next couple of days over Mexico, but the leftovers of Agatha could try to wander into the Gulf. We'll talk more about that. What impact, if any, it could have on Texas weather. That's coming up in the next half hour, guys.
I can't believe it's already a season for that, too. I feel like it's flown by.
Yeah, that one sounds like a scary name, Agatha.
Agatha.
Hopefully she won't do any trouble.
I know.
All right, Larry, UTSA Roadrunners baseball keeps on winning.
Yeah, they are absolutely red hot. They beat #1 seed of the Conference USA Championship, Southern Miss, yesterday, and they beat them again today to advance to the Conference Championship. Plus, we're also talking high school baseball playoffs involving a couple of area teams coming up.
We led the league in average and some other stuff, top 3 in pretty much everything. So they've been confident all year.
No shortage of offense for the UTSA baseball team as they advance once again in the Conference USA tournament in big board sports. UTSA baseball will play for the Conference USA Championship after beating hosts and #1 seed Southern Miss today. Top of the second, no score when Garrett Poston hammers one to right field and over the fence for a 2-run homer, and the Roadrunners lead 2-0. There was no doubt about that one. The Roadrunners led 4-0 after 3 and 4-2 after 7. Top of the 8th, the Roadrunners blow this one open. Shane Sardashny pokes it down the right field line for a 2-run triple, part of a 6-run inning, and the Roadrunners roll 11-2, advancing to the title game. Roadrunner skipper Pat Hallmark was asked if his team has done enough to qualify for regional play next week.
Yeah, sure. No doubt. I mean, look who we're beating. It's the best. I mean, it's an unbelievable team. We come into their place and beat them twice. Look at everybody else we beat. We beat Stanford, TCU. We beat everybody that they put in front of us. So, yes, no doubt.
UTSA will play Louisiana Tech tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the Conference USA Championship. In Division III baseball, Trinity faces Birmingham Southern College today. Top of the 9th, Michael Montreza singles up the middle, scoring 2 runs, and the Tigers lead 11-8. This after blowing a 7-0 lead. The Tigers win Game 2 14-8 to sweep the Birmingham Super Regional. And Trinity baseball is returning to the NCAA Division III World Series for the 3rd time in program history and first since the Tigers won the 2016 National Championship. The Bernie baseball team staved off elimination with a 2-1 victory against Cal Allen in extra innings of Game 2 of their Class 4A regional semifinals. Tonight, they look to advance in Game 3. Bottom of the 4th, Bernie down 1-0 and looking to rally with 1 on. But this grounder heads right to first baseman Roberto Perez, starting a 3-5-3 inning-ending double play. Wildcats clinging to a 1-run lead until the bottom of the 5th. Huge opportunity for the Greyhounds with a runner on third. Caleb Sanchez chops one to the left side. The shortstop gloves it and throws to first, but Sanchez beats the throw. He's safe, and the run scores, and we're tied at 1-1 heading into the top of the 7th with the Bernie crowd on their feet. But that's when Cal Allen pulls ahead again. Tres Vasquez sends one to right field, and it gets past the diving fielder. Tarek Hickman scores all the way from first. That ends up being the game-winning run. Cal Allen ends Bernie's season with a 2-1 victory in Game 3. The Blanco baseball team kept their season alive with a 3-2 win against Bishop in Game 2 this afternoon, which brings us to tonight's decisive Game 3 at UTSA. Panthers open up a big lead in the top of the first. Zach Wisdom sends a hot shot down the right field line. That drops and heads into the corner, an RBI triple for Wisdom. It's part of a 4-run inning, so it's 4-0 Blanco after 1. Bishop claws their way back in the bottom of the second. Ty Odom crushes one deep to left field and gone. A 3-1 blast gives the Badgers a 5-4 lead. Blanco not going away quietly. After tying it up at 5-all, Connor Chase cranks one to left. That's out of here for a go-ahead solo job. Blanco takes the lead 6-5. But Bishop has the final say. Bottom 6, Marcos Hernandez goes yard the same direction for a 2-run shot. That ends up being the game winner. Bishop eliminates Blanco in an epic Game 3, 7-6.
With the heat, I knew our pitchers were going to cramp up, and they did. I just tried to hang with Carson as long as we could because we really didn't have, too much behind him. But, I mean, these kids, they just battled their off. I'm proud of them.
9 seniors leave the program after leading the team on their deepest playoff run since 2019. Dwayne Wade called Jimmy Butler to give him a pep talk, and it worked. Later in sports.
Ooh, that's a good tease.
Thanks, Larry. We'll see you in the next half hour. All right, coming up on the Nightbeat, dead roaches and rat droppings. Oh, no. We have the latest health inspection score from this local cafe up in the next Behind the Kitchen Door.
Tease game is strong. Dead roaches and rat droppings. That's what inspectors found at a local cafe.
But hold on, because investigators say they found other things too. Tonight, what I found behind the kitchen door. Our first stop this week takes us to the west side, where inspectors found multiple violations at the old Highway 90 cafe located in the 600 block of Old Highway 90. When inspectors stopped by April 7th, they found multiple dead roaches throughout the facility and rat droppings in the water heater closet. The cold hold unit wasn't keeping items cold enough. It should be a minimum of 41 degrees, but egg yolks showed a temperature of 54 degrees. Employees were seen touching raw meat and then using a utensil to serve ready-to-eat food without washing their hands. Another employee observed touching ready-to-eat tortillas after touching a dirty rag. The cafe also written up for a repeat violation for multiple holes in the wall throughout the facility. They were ordered to make repairs with approved materials, the inspector noting cardboard may not be used. I stopped by this week to see if the repairs had been made. Have you guys repaired the holes in the walls?
Oh yeah, I fix everything.
Employee Carlos Chacon showed me the work was ongoing.
I need a painting. I'm not finished right now, but
still working on it.
Yeah.
Inspectors gave the cafe a barely passing score of 72. They have until July 6th to finish the repairs. Fajita Taco Place number 3 in the 1800 block of Thompson Place came in with a score of 80. On April 15th, the inspector found eggs on the prep line were 72 degrees. That's well over the recommended temperature of 45. Charro beans from the previous day were thrown out because they were no longer safe to eat. Unidentified pest droppings were also found in the kitchen prep area. The corrections need to be made by July 14th. And that's what we found this week behind the kitchen door. It's not all bad news. Some restaurants got perfect scores. To see which ones did well, hold up your camera phone to this QR code. It'll take you right to our perfect scores database on KSAT.com.
Well, day 2 of the NRA convention kicked off in Houston, and just like yesterday, protesters could be seen and heard voicing their opinions on both sides. The NRA convention has come under scrutiny after the Uvalde school massacre, which is now the deadliest school shooting in Texas. Some protesters calling for change to current gun laws, while others advocating that people are the problem, not guns.
We can put the assault rifles into ages 18 and up, but you can't drink an alcoholic drink till you're 21.
You know, if they're going to commit a murder, they're going to commit a murder with anything they can get their hands on.
So I think the true thing really comes down to is it's not the weapon it is, but the intent and the person.
Governor Greg Abbott originally supposed to attend the convention, but backed out just 3 days after the Uvalde mass shooting. Instead, he pre-recorded remarks played at the convention. Now to the U.S. baby formula shortage that continues to get worse as many parents wait for the stock to increase again. This week, the out-of-stock rates jumped to 70% nationwide. That's according to the retail tracking firm Data Assembly. Here in Texas, the shortage rate is about 63%, but in some areas like Houston, it's up to 90%. Nearly a week ago, the Biden administration invoked the Defense Production Act to speed up production for formula, along with flying in nearly 80,000 pounds of baby formula from overseas.
One of the oldest victims from the Buffalo grocery store mass shooting is now laid to rest. 86-year-old Ruth Whitfield was one of the 10 killed 2 weeks ago. Vice President Kamala Harris delivering remarks at their funeral service.
This is a moment that requires all good people, all God-loving people, to stand up and say, we will not stand for this. Enough is enough. We will come together based on what we all know we have in common, and we will not let those people who are motivated by hate separate us or make us feel fear.
Whitfield survived by her husband of 68 years. Authorities say the gunman targeted that store because it was in a predominantly black neighborhood. Popular Netflix TV series Stranger Things now has a warning card at the beginning of the first episode of its newly released season 4. The move comes after the Uvalde school massacre. The message warns viewers of a scene, along with clarifying that the season was shot over a year ago.
Well, Iran has revealed the existence of a large, never-before-seen underground drone base at an undisclosed location. A state media reporter was allowed to visit the facility and show what Iran claims are several new weapon systems with more than 100 drones. That includes Iran's first cruise missile capable of being launched from a drone at a range of about 124 miles at speeds of more than 600 miles per hour. The reporter said that there are also drones that can be mounted on helicopters. New COVID-19 cases and deaths continue to decline around most of the world, except the Americas and Western Pacific. COVID-19 cases in the Americas and Western Pacific region actually rose. That's according to the World Health Organization's weekly report released Wednesday. The report shows that the number of new weekly cases in other regions has continued falling globally since peaking in January. 3.7 million new cases were reported in the last week and 9,000 deaths, with the U.S. reporting the highest number of both.
Japan is ready to welcome back American tourists after being shut down for 2 years due to the pandemic. Starting June 10th, American vacationers on guided package tours will be allowed back into Japan. Visitors from the U.S. will not have to show any proof of vaccination or need to isolate or test upon arrival. Japan's tourism agency estimates around 100,000 people have visited the country between January and March this year. That's down from the 8 million tourists they had in the same time period in 2019. The Japanese tourism industry isn't expecting their business to fully rebound until the spring of 2023. Still ahead on the Nightbeat, Memorial Day travel looking like pre-pandemic levels, but the prices, not so much. How much you can expect to pay for things this weekend. Americans are hitting the roads, the skies, and celebrating at home to kick off the unofficial start of summer amid soaring gas, travel, and food prices.
And millions are expected to travel more than 50 miles from home.
The TSA screening nearly 2.4 million travelers on Friday, saying it has increased its staffing to help deal with the crowds. Meanwhile, on the nation's roads, AAA is predicting nearly 35 million people will travel to their final holiday destinations by car, despite higher prices at the pump. Nationwide, right now, the average for a gallon of gas standing at $4.60.
Outside with live cam again tonight. So awfully warm out there and breezy. Just hot for us here around South Central Texas today. And that's what we're looking at for the next couple of days as well. High temperatures across the country. There was a lot of heat across Texas and into the southern and central plains. 88 the high in Oklahoma City, but Some parts of the country was really comfortable today. 71 Cleveland, 74 New York, 80s across Florida, and then on the West Coast, 58 Seattle. That's their high temperature today. 72 in San Francisco. Across the country now, a couple of showers west of Dallas, and then some severe storms across parts of Nebraska and into South Dakota. And as we look ahead to tomorrow, if you'll be traveling across the country, the only concern for severe weather is going to be in the central and northern plains across parts of Nebraska into the Dakotas, into Iowa and Minnesota as well. We'll take a look at your Texas travel cast for the next couple of days coming up next.
More than 50 animals have a permanent roof over their heads after making it to their forever homes today. This after a large adoption event by SA Pets Alive. Hundreds of people showed up in homes to find, in hopes of finding their new family pet. And get this, the event was sponsored, so families got to adopt their pet at no cost. All adoptions were free.
Some good looking animals there getting their forever homes.
Yeah, it is like something stuck in my throat today. Like,
okay there?
I was gasping at how hot it is outside.
I know.
I think you just inhaled a bug.
I know. Oh my gosh. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Protein. It's protein, whatever.
If you say so. If you say so. Yeah, so happy for all those pets. Good.
Yeah.
Thanks to the people for doing that. Let's take a look at your Monday. So I'm gonna leapfrog days for you here. I want to get you a look at your Monday plan if you're finalizing any plans for Memorial Day. Here's what you got. We will start off with morning clouds Monday. They should linger a little bit longer. So still mostly cloudy through lunchtime, but then mostly sunny in the afternoon with a high around 96 and windy at times on Monday as well. If you're hitting the road tomorrow, maybe for some plans around Texas tomorrow or Monday, wanted to give you a look at the future cast across Texas. Things are really going to be pretty quiet. Morning clouds for us over to the Houston area and across East Texas, but tomorrow afternoon, a lot of sun and no rain expected across Texas. As we get into Monday morning, more morning cloud cover across a bigger portion of the state, and then mostly sunny and hot as we get into Monday afternoon. Here's a look at the forecast highs the next couple of days. More triple-digit heat tomorrow from Del Rio up to San Angelo, even Lubbock pushing 100 tomorrow afternoon. 92 in Houston tomorrow and 90 there on Memorial Day with higher humidity. So we talked about this very briefly last half hour. What's going on in the tropics? Technically, hurricane season doesn't start until Wednesday, June 1st, but we've got a little bit of activity in the Pacific Basin. So there's Mexico and there is the Gulf of Mexico. So this is in the Pacific Basin, but we've got a nice little burst of convection here. This bright red color on tropical satellite indicates some thunderstorms that are the center of Tropical Storm Agatha. This is a tropical storm as of tonight. However, the National Hurricane Center expects this to become a hurricane, potentially even a Category 2 hurricane by Monday at 7 a.m. And then it could make landfall as a hurricane or a high-end tropical storm later in the day on Monday. And then it's going to run into the very bumpy, higher terrain of Mexico and Central America. Now, jumping over into the Gulf of Mexico, the National Hurricane Center is monitoring for the potential for the leftovers of Agatha to move across the higher terrain of Mexico there and reemerge in the southern Gulf of Mexico and potentially become the first system in the Atlantic Basin, which is the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, and the Atlantic Ocean. The odds of that happening, though, are quite slim. Just a 20% chance of that over the next 5 days. And no, we do not anticipate even the leftovers of that system, any moisture there, to impact Texas. In fact, over the next 7 days in our part of the world, things are looking dry, unfortunately. This is just a good reminder that the start of hurricane season is right around the corner, and we do expect an above average season in terms of the number of named storms. Couple of entities put out forecasts for hurricane season each year. I've written up a little something about these forecasts on KSAT.com. You can take a look at that right now. Just head to the weather page on KSAT.com. Out there tonight, 80 in Comfort. It's 86 Castroville, also 86 at at Stinson. Say that 5 times fast. So plenty warm, a little bit breezy, and we've just got a few high clouds that have moved in from the west. While we're sleeping tonight, low clouds will build back in, so we'll start your day tomorrow with a lot of cloud cover, but just like today, it'll go away very quickly. A few clouds here and there into the afternoon, but overall, a lot of sunshine again tomorrow. That means the UV index on Sunday will be back at extreme levels. That means if you're outside and you don't wear sunscreen, you could start to get a sunburn in as little as 10 minutes. So if you're spending time outdoors tomorrow, please make sure you are protecting your skin. Here's a look at your low temperatures tomorrow morning, right around 70 for a lot of us, even mid 70s. It's going to be humid. As we get into tomorrow afternoon, look for high temperatures back in the upper 90s and triple digits. A dry heat again tomorrow and more wind for us Sunday and also into Monday and Tuesday. Guys,
blow all the bugs away.
Yeah, just don't inhale.
I've already had my meal. I'm done. I'm done.
Wash it down while we listen to sports here. All right, Dwayne Wade, a legend of the Heat, giving a pump-up call to one of the players.
Yeah, to Jimmy Butler before Game 6. So I'll tell you what, Heat fans probably want D. Wade to call Jimmy before Game 7. Coming up, Jimmy will tell us what they talked about. And in the WNBA, Nalissa Smith is back after missing some games due to injury. Coming up. Facing elimination in the Eastern Conference Finals, Miami won at Boston 111-103 last night to force Game 7. Heat forward Jimmy Butler, playing with a sore knee, scored a career playoff high 47 points, including 17 in the fourth quarter. Butler's 47 points are the 7th most in NBA history for a player facing elimination. Heat legend Dwayne Wade called Butler before Game 6 to pump him up.
Just letting me know to go out there, continue to build on that legacy, and make sure that we win. I mean, I think I did decent throughout the game, but everybody else, Vic's charge at the end, Kyle playing the way that he played and his injury, it just feels great to get one on the road.
It's incredible to have a guy like him next to me. I played with some great players, and he's one of the best players I played with. To do on this stage, Game 6, win or go home, do or die. I wouldn't want to listen up with many other people with this guy.
Game 7 is tomorrow night, 7:30 in Miami. The winner will face the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. East Central great Nalissa Smith returned to action with the Indiana Fever last night after missing the last 4 games with an ankle injury. And the rookie forward picked up where she left off with 17 points and 5 rebounds in 25 minutes to help the Fever beat the LA Sparks 101-96.
It felt amazing to be back. Every single day I was hurt, I was just counting the days down of when I could come back and play with this team. And it feels good. I mean, it's a little sore, but it's nothing that excruciating pain.
Smith went 2 for 3 from three-point range, and the Fever will next play Tuesday night when they host Washington. Texas hammered out 18 hits to beat the Oakland A's this afternoon in California. Score of this game, top of the third, when Corey Seager hits a 2-run shot to center field, and it's 2-0 Rangers. Very next batter, Adolis Garcia, goes yard to left field, so back-to-back dingers, and it's 3-0 Rangers. But the big blow came in the top of the 5th. Marcus Semien smacks a grand slam to center field, and it's 9-1 Rangers, his first homer after signing with Texas in the offseason. The Rangers win their 4th straight game 11-4. In Texas League ball, the Rough Riders beat the Missions 10-6. These two will wrap up their 6-game series tomorrow. San Antonio FC on the road this evening, taking on Rio Grande Valley FC. Match tied 1-1 in the 62nd minute. The cross in front is redirected, but Mitchell Tainter is right there to put it away. 2-1 SAFC. That score would hold until the 87th minute. Perfectly timed pass finds Justin Dillon behind the defense, and he puts it past the keeper. That ends up being the game-winning goal, and San Antonio hangs on to win 3-2. San Antonio Athenians Soccer Club hosted FC Austin Elite tonight at Soccer Central. No score in the 51st minute when the Athenians strike Emma Ruiz with a left-footed strike, and it's 1-0 San Antonio. Brooke Martinez, who made her Athenians debut, had the assist. Austin scored in the 85th minute on a corner, and this match would end tied 1-1.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys running back Tony Pollard is one of the NFL's most underappreciated players per NFL Network analytics expert Cynthia Freeland. She said Pollard's 6.4 yards per rush outside the tackles in 2021 ranks second among backs with at least 50 attempts per Next Gen Stats, and his success as the boys' number 2 back helped earn him PFF's second highest grade, 90.3 among all running backs. Cowboys fans want to see Pollard, who's in entering his contract season, get more touches, and he is dynamic in the open field. They have to get him the ball a little bit more.
I was just counting on my fingers, Larry. 3 more months without football, and then we're right back in.
See, I ended with football for you, Gerber.
It made me happy. Thanks, man.
Look at him smile. We'll be right back.